An Iowa jury on Friday convicted farmhand Cristhian Bahena Rivera of first-degree murder in the 2018 killing of college student Mollie Tibbetts. The panel in Davenport deliberated for 7 hours over 2 days before coming back with the verdict against Rivera. The 24-year-old Mexican national who led investigators to Tibbetts' body in a Brooklyn, Iowa, cornfield nearly 1 month after she went jogging July 18 and vanished. The defendant showed no emotion as the single verdict was announced. He could have been convicted of second-degree murder or manslaughter. But once jurors agreed on guilt on the top charge, those lesser options became moot. District Court Judge Joel Yates ordered Rivera into custody with no bail and set his sentencing for July 15. Deputies handcuffed Rivera and took him back to jail, as his defense lawyers and prosecutors cordially shook hands. In this case, we're very pleased that the jury took the time that they did to look at the evidence and to deliberate, defense lawyer Jennifer Fries, standing next to her co-counsel and husband, Chad Fries, told reporters. It would be impossible to find a jury that hadn't heard about this case. The first-degree murder conviction, which carries a maximum penalty of life behind bars, didn't surprise MSNBC legal analyst Cynthia Oxney, a former federal prosecutor. He led them to the body and he confessed that he blacked out during the critical time and he was on the video stalking her, circling her in his car. All those things together made for a strong case, she said. Early in the trial, defense lawyers had tried to infer that Tibbetts' boyfriend, Dalton Jack, was unfaithful and struggled with anger issues. But the boyfriend was working at a construction job more than 100 miles away in Dubuque when Tibbett went missing, witnesses said. Then, in a stunning move by the defense Wednesday, Rivera took the witness stand in his own defense and testified that 2 masked men were responsible for the crime but forced him to take part at gunpoint. Chad and Jennifer Fries said their client told them about the masked men when they first met him nearly 3 years ago. He had never varied from that version of events. Not one detail, Chad Fries said. So we had to get something up there. We thought the jury needed to hear directly from him. Jennifer Fries said the tale of the masked attackers wasn't made up at a later, desperate hour. If we were going to make something up, we would have come up with something better than that, she said. Still, Oxney said the defendant's testimony did more harm than good. It was pathetic, she said. You can't have a double defense like that. All that did was make the jury more want to convict. He'd been better off remaining silent than all of that goofiness. The case against Rivera, an undocumented laborer, drew national attention when then-President Donald Trump and other Republicans said the tragedy was made possible by lax immigration laws. Tibbetts' family pushed back against that narrative and pleaded with politicians not to invoke the University of Iowa student's name to advance an anti-immigration agenda. Sadly, others have ignored our request. They have instead chosen to callously distort and corrupt Mollie's tragic death to advance a cause she vehemently opposed. I encourage the debate on immigration. There is great merit in its reasonable outcome, her father, Rob Tibbetts, wrote in the Des Moines Register. But do not appropriate Mollie's soul in advancing views she believed were profoundly racist. This is a developing story. Please refresh here for updates.